Happy Thursday afternoon. Today, we are going to go over a case study of a client of mine that I have, and he is very, very successful. I'm super proud. But anyway, he sent me some information on some things that he did in his business. He was able to add 150K to his pipeline in only a quarter, 6 opportunities with no outbound and no inbound. So, how did he do that? I am going to break it all down for you and let you know how it happened. He was also able to get a promotion from mid market to enterprise. So, I'm super, super proud of him. I have to keep it anonymous, of course, because privacy. So, just bear with me. So, my name is Leah. I am an advisor to sales leaders and coach to top 10% AEs. And in the age of AI that we're in, where AI is compressing a lot of the roles, it's taking away and doing a lot of the transactional type work, we as sellers need all the help we can get. I do take a small number of one-to-one clients, AEs that are highly driven. You want to be in the top 5 to 10% of your organization and in the market. DM me here on LinkedIn, top 10%, and we can have that discussion. I'll mention this once again at the end. Okay, so let's get into it. So, how did my client add 6 new opportunities, $150,000 in pipeline with no outbound in 1 quarter? He's really doing amazing. So, let me preface this by saying that this only works if you are not selling transactionally. So, in order for this to work, in order for it to be profitable for you, in order for it to feel effortless for you, you have to be selling consultatively. Now, what does this mean? It means you are in consultation with your buyer, you're acting as an advisor, you're not acting as just a salesperson, right? So, we're not pitching our products, features, solution. We are understanding the business problem that we're solving. We're understanding what they need fixed. We're understanding the emotional connection they have to the problem and what they have invested both personally and professionally in this issue getting solved. Okay, so knowing that, if you're doing that, great, this will work for you. If you're not, then you need some help and you know what to do. So the first thing that he did was after he sold the product, solution, service, whatever it was to them, then he gave it a couple months, 2 to 3 months, and then he connected back to them. Now, you may or may not have a customer success department where you work. Now, a lot of the sellers that I work with, they're smaller organizations, so they don't. Either way it goes, it is your job as a seller to stay connected with your clients, right? It's just good business, number one. And number two, you are growing your network when you do that. So please, please just do not sell a thing and just be gone and just forget about them. I know it's easy to do that because we're in the soup, we're in the day-to-day, but you want to stay connected with your clients and, let them know that you do care about them. You want to make sure that the problem got solved, et cetera. This can also be done during QBRs if your customer success team does QBRs, and they should, and it should be much more effective than they are, but that's another conversation. So he's giving it a couple months and then he's checking back in with them, right? He schedules a call with them and then he reminds them, number one, so there's 4 or 5 steps. So number one, the first step is he's reminding them of why they bought in the first place. So he's reminding them of the business problem that they agreed upon and why they bought the solution in the first place. So for example, you were trying to cut down your approval process because it was causing your revenue to stall and you couldn't use that revenue for other things that were important in your business, is just an example, right? So you know what the business problem is, you know why they bought in the first place with certainty. So this is why we cannot sell transactionally, because it's not going to work, right? We can't go into a conversation with our buyer after the fact or even during the sale and not know the business reason why they're buying your product, solution, or service, right? So you know with certainty. So when you go back to them, then you can anchor back into the original problem, okay? So that's step number one. You're reminding them of the original problem. Number two, you're going to speak in business terms and business results. So again, we're not being vague. We're not leaving it up to them. So what does accepting a vague answer looks like? Oh, the approval process is much shorter now. Okay, what does that mean? Because time is finite, right? We can put a number on time. So if they say something like the approval time is much better now, okay, that sounds to me like, he'll say, it sounds to me like it was cut down from 10 days to 5 or 10 days to 2, whatever the case may be. And they're like, yeah, it was actually cut down to about 2.5 days. So now we have approvals at 2.5 days. That is the tangible result, and that's speaking the outcome in their language. So we're saying, we're giving them the reason. Number 3, we are anchoring in the reason, and we're talking about the results anchored back to the business problem. So we're saying, okay, if that cut X amount of days off the approval time, then you're probably being able to pull that revenue forward and realize that revenue much quicker, 30 days quicker than you did before. So you see what we're doing. We are taking the original business problem, we are connecting it to the results, and then we are connecting it back to the results that they wanted and that we promised that our product, solution, or service would solve. Okay, so that's 3 steps. And then the 4th step is when we ask for the referral. So the trick here is not to, can you give me a referral, right? That's not the trick. It's a little bit more nuanced. So remember, from steps 1, 2, and 3, we are now in a business level conversation, right? With our buyer. We're speaking their language. We're business advisors. We're in a business level conversation. So we're not just going to pop off and say, oh, can you give me a referral, right? You're going to say something like, and this is what he said, and I have my notes here, so excuse me for looking. Lots of teams are running into this issue. I talk to them all the time. If you happen to know anyone in your network that might be struggling with this problem, I'm happy to walk them through how we did it. And at that point, he said a lot of his clients will just say, you know what, I can think of 2 or 3 other companies or people, my counterparts in other companies that are having this problem too, right? So right there, you've asked for a referral, but you've not asked for one, right? So you anchor back in the original problem, you put their emotion into it, you anchor back into the solution, you've gotten them to agree that the problem was solved and fixed and that they're having some benefits from it and they're seeing what they expect or even more than what they expect. And this is a conversation, right? So you can't script this. And this is the key. AI can do a lot for you and AI can do a lot for our business, but it cannot do this. So this is one of the things that is going to help you as a seller prove your value and prove that you're more valuable than any AI tool, solution, or service out there, right? So we're having this conversation with our buyer. So, he's asking for a referral without asking for a referral. And then number 5, after they said, number 4, after they said, yes, I can think of like 2 or 3 of my counterparts because we network all the time. We're in the same circles. They're having the same issue. And then he's like, okay, well, I can, refer them to you. And then number 5, he's going to reduce friction. So we're reducing friction by reducing the perceived effort level of the ask. Okay, and how he's doing that and said, I'm happy to send you a quick blurb of how we did it for you and send a quick blurb for you on an introduction for me. I'll send it to you on email and then you can send it to your counterpart. And then step 2, you can connect them with me on email or connect them with me on LinkedIn and just make the introduction that way. So we're lowering the perceived effort. We're lowering the risk of them saying no. They already agreed that they got the results. They're happy with the solution, right? And this is the other part, right? You got to make sure that they're happy with what you've done for them. And then they're going to give you the referrals. And then after they give you the referrals, they make the introduction. It's a warm intro. It's a hot lead at that point, right? Because they already have the same problem. You were intro to this other person by someone that you already work with that's already happy. So you see where this is headed, right? So it's super easy at that point. So that is how my client added 6 opportunities worth $150K in ARR within 1 quarter to his pipeline. Okay, now there's some other points. Let me just go to my phone and I'm just going to read what he what he wrote. Okay, so the keys are that clients love to help, but they hate being sold to, right? So if they think you're selling to them, they're going to shut down, which is why when we do cold outreach, we get shut down a lot because they think we're selling, and the way a lot of us go about it is pretty salesy. So they hate being sold to, but they love being helpful. So if you prove that you're helpful, you've proven the efficacy of your product, solution, or service can work in the same industry with the same type of people with the same ICP. That is pretty much almost a done deal right there at the point in time where your contact decides to intro you to some of their counterparts that they know that are having the same problem. People refer when they are confident explaining the value, right? So the value is obvious in this case. But again, in order for this to work, you have to be certain of the business problem that you're solving, and you have to be certain about the details of the outcome in business terms, right? It's not enough to be vague and say, yeah, we cut off a couple of days off the approval time. Yeah, we saved a couple $100,000. Like, what does that mean? A couple $100,000 could mean $100,000, $200,000, $400,000, or $500,000. Do you see what I'm saying? And a lot of us as sellers, we're used to accepting these vague answers, and we can't build a business case, nor can we build a referral business off vagaries, off vague answers. And we need to get specific. We need to get the specific answer. Okay. And this is why it is also super important for you as a seller. Once you sell the thing, once you sell the product, solution, service, you need to stay plugged into your client, right? Whether or not they're being passed off to customer success, which happens a lot, an account manager, what have you, right? And this is also why when you have a consultative methodology built into your organization, all of the notes are structured the same way. You're getting the same kind of information. There is uniform qualification gates, uniform standards moving from one stage to the next. It's super important. So when you as a seller put your notes in the CRM or whatever you're doing, your account manager can look at the notes and know exactly what's going on, exactly what they should look for in terms of results, tangible results with the client, and what they might need later on down the line. So again, we're kind of future pacing. We're seeing around corners, and we're helping our client visualize the outcome, and we're anticipating what could go wrong down the line before it actually does for them, right? So then we can suggest other product solutions and services that may help, or complementary things. Or if we don't have it, then we can give them a referral to someone that can. But the key to adding more opportunities and more revenue to your pipeline is to cultivate referrals without calling them referrals. And the key to doing this is, back to the beginning, is to set yourself up as a trusted advisor and do consultative selling from the beginning so that your client trusts you, you're getting the outcome for them. Then when you go back to them and you re-anchor back in the problem, in the results, you get them to agree on it. They agree on it. They're happy to make those introductions. You want to get referral business without calling it a referral. That's what you want to do. Okay. So that's how my client added 6 opportunities, 150K in ARR in 1 quarter with no cold outbound. Like, think about it. If you could do that without doing cold calls, without doing cold emails and all these things, wouldn't you do it? But it requires some work, and it requires some retooling and some rethinking about how we are doing things as a sales industry, right? As sellers, as AEs, whatever you sell, whatever industry you're in. Referrals are, I hate to say low-hanging fruit, but they're the quickest path to revenue and the quickest path to proving your value in the AI-driven world that we're in, right? So when we're talking about AI, like I've been beating this drum for like the last 2 weeks, AI is commoditized a lot of things. It's commoditized information. It's commoditized repetitive tasks. It's commoditized a lot of the busy work and the transactional work. And the bottom 90% of sellers are being quietly and silently made obsolete, but they don't really realize it yet. And our job is to make sure that we are not easily replaceable. And this is one way you can do it. Okay. It's to cultivate your referral pipeline consistently, constantly as you're going through your business. Every single quarter, you set a goal for referrals and you can do it. It just takes some work and some rethinking and maybe some fixing of your process, your discovery process, all these things. So, again, if you are an AE, if you're a seller and you know you need to get better at this, I do work with AEs one to one. I work with a couple of clients a quarter because we do really deep work. And this is one of the things that I'm helping my clients with is to overcome this AI hurdle and make sure that they get into the top 5 to 10% of their organization and in the market so that they become much, much tougher to replace. If that's you, then feel free to send me a DM and I'll schedule a call. We can talk about the details and we can go from there. So that's what I have today. 6 new opportunities, 150K in ARR in 1 quarter, and he was promoted to enterprise recently. Again, I can't give his name. I would love to, but I'm really, really proud of you. You know who you are. And I will see you guys later next week for another live on this topic or another topic. Cultivate your referrals, but don't call them one. Talk to you soon. Bye now.